Hey there, this is Roman from Tangent. Today we've invited a special guest. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, so my name is Matej Lančarič. So I'm the UA consultant slash host of Two and a Half Gamers podcast. So thanks for having me here.
Like today's a special day, at least according to LinkedIn, it's 1 year for Two and a Half Gamers. Is it accurate or this is a
It's
random man?
it wasn't today, but it was this month. Yeah, we started recording Two and a Half Gamers, which is no bullshit gaming podcast, by the way. We started in middle of January. So yeah, this is a special month for us.
Super, super. Yeah, the reason why we're here, Tangent have released a new report. Of course, like hyper casual, call it like hyper casual benchmark report. And today we want to record like a reaction to the report, right? So Matej maybe briefly saw something in the media, but not the whole report. So I will just share a screen and we start discussing.
I'm looking forward, actually.
Yes.
It's been all over the LinkedIn, but here we are. I didn't have time to check it completely.
Yes.
So let's,
Like,
yeah.
if you're doing like marketing, like LinkedIn is a king. Like a lot
Oh,
of people are doing Twitter, but I don't know. This is
no.
on the side note.
Yeah. I've never found any success with Twitter. Definitely
Exactly.
LinkedIn is way more fun as well, and way better in terms of the reach as well. Yeah.
So Matej, look, do you see the cover, right?
Yeah, I
I
see.
guess not
Yeah.
nothing surprising here. I have the like executive summary, and then I have like about tangent. Here we don't need your reaction.
Why? Come on. I used Tangent. I used Tangent quite a lot for the hyper casual games because it's all about the margins and you come pretty
Well,
handy for
all
the
right.
hyper casuals.
Yeah. That was not. We didn't do it on purpose. So yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
Any like expectation, like any numbers that are going up, down? So we have like CPIs, we
Nice.
have ad spend per platform, we have
Yeah.
countries. Like any first like expectation from the report that you have?
So I would like to see the evolution of the CPIs in the between Q3 and Q4 maybe, and potentially if budget spend shifted from Android to iOS or other way around, and what kind of geos are
Yep,
important for the
cool.
hyper casual gaming companies.
Then here you go. Here is an ad spend share. We have 52 for Android, 48 for iOS. It was 57 in
Okay,
Q3. What's going on
nice.
here? Like,
Well, okay. I guess finally people are starting to get into iOS more and more, and not they're not scared anymore to actually spend against the iOS KPIs. And obviously, like iOS was always the most or the biggest quality.
right? Did they figure out SCAD network?
I hope so.
Uh-huh.
I really hope so.
Mm.
I just heard that there is like a 30% of the UA people that actually figured the SKA
No,
network framework, and the rest is just still
well,
trying to understand.
well, now they need to relearn with SCAD network 4.
Oh yeah. It's good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it. I have no idea. I have some ideas how it's gonna change, but we're still in the dark. Everybody's talking about it, but we only starting to get like first post specs now. And yeah,
yeah, man. I mean, just like with Google, like
yeah.
like
Oh,
2023 for me is like if anyone is asking me, I'm like, oh, Android. I'm doing what I know, what I can do,
yeah, of
and
course.
yeah,
It's the same thing with when the IDFA and all the iOS changes were announced. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, we need to be prepared," and then everything changed
uh-huh.
so,
Yeah,
so heavily. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to be prepared in terms of the information I can get from different sources, But then actually, like when it hits, then that's gonna be the interesting part, because then I see the data, I can make decisions based on the data, and then it's gonna be way easier. Now it's just all theoretical.
Yeah. I will switch to probably the most surprising slide here is iOS CPI. It's now 42 cents.
Is this like average or US only, or what's
It's
the
median.
median? Okay, median. Okay, I see now. I see it now. 42 cents median across all the countries. I mean, okay. I would expect lower than 42 cents, to be
This
honest.
is I have a correction. All the countries that with a spend more than 1 million. This is based on
Okay.
our data set. So
Okay.
there are some filters. This is not.
Okay. Good. Makes sense. Well, it's Q4, so of course it's the all-time high.
Yeah, that's the question, right? So Android by 5 cents is fine by me, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the CPI is growing. This is a lot. I've like calculated 68%. Like I have an idea, but maybe you can tell me if that makes sense or not. So iOS CPI has grown, but if we go to is it my countries?
Yeah.
Yes. Here is the USA. Probably this number
Nice.
makes a bit more sense to you. And the CPI on the US market actually decreased by 6 cents.
Nice. Okay.
But other tier one countries like France, Germany, for example, there are also like some others, have increased in the CPI. So these tier one countries are bringing the overall median up.
Yeah. Okay. Look, so I think in Q4, and it's always like every Q4, the competition is super high. So all the CPIs are starting to increase after Black Friday happens, and it gets crazy until the end of the year. So that like increase by 17 cents is not surprising. The surprising thing here is kind of like the CPI decrease on in US, which is kind of exactly the opposite what I would expect. And I would expect, like when you said when we saw that there's the increase, and I would say like US is actually driving that increase up, not the other tier one or the European countries.
Because of the seasonality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like very big changes in US specifically for all the channels and games I manage. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's US. But now, well, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, and I mean, we have some like really good sweet spots here. In the Q3, I've indicated like Brazil, it was number 3 by ad spend. Now it's already number 2. I'm not sure. Maybe people are listening. And the cent for Brazil is like 7 cents. Right. So maybe you know something like that for iOS or Android that like really makes sense.
So when you mentioned that the 5 cents increase on Android is kind of fine, but if you think about it, and you have 7 cents in Brazil, or lower cents, lower CPIs in these countries, or tier 2, tier 3 countries, where the 5 cents is kind of big difference. So
yeah.
And overall is like, oh well, it can change the whole like CPI LTV equation, man. It's with like 20 cents range, it's very different. Of course, like if it's like $5 CPI and that's changed by 5 cents, but that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, it's like I think for a lot of hyper casual games, these would be kind of like an end game. It's like, oh well, the CPI is increased quite heavily. But no, it's like, of course, I'm joking here, but still, like it can be very dangerous increase, even 5 cents in some geos.
No, true. I wonder what, like, let's look at maybe at the ad networks and CPI.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Okay.
fun, right? Here's an Android for you.
Man, Snapchat. Who runs anything on Snapchat still?
Well, the guys got
I
into
see.
the ranking. You see,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
of
more than
course.
it.
Yeah, 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 of course, yeah. But it's like, come on, why? It's the most
So,
expensive one, the first thing, and like every time I tried something on Snapchat, it doesn't work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's actually.
like 3 years ago, like we've seen it, like in the top five.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
100%.
not so much. So this is a surprise number one. Any other surprises here?
Yeah, Integral up there, not that big surprise. The Facebook is down kind of, but yeah, I think it's anyway dying quite long long death. But then ad colony, I'm not using ad colony that much these days, or maybe in the last year or so. So that's kind of surprising. That's still it's still a pretty viable channel.
Iron Source and Unity emerging. I'm not sure when this is gonna be complete. So
Yeah, well,
maybe.
and that's the thing. Like everybody asks me, like, what's gonna happen with the inventory? If it's gonna be one big inventory, or if it's gonna be only Unity inventory, or what's gonna happen? Because if honestly, if these two became one, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work because Iron Source for me not working at all. Unity always. So it's like quite opposite directions.
I see. Yeah, this is like a branding task
Oh
for.
yeah. Oh yeah. 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 100%. Maybe it's gonna be split by genre because I
Uh-huh.
can understand why Iron Sword is working for hyper casual because well of course Supersonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Uplavin as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who would say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Let's look at the data from our friends from Game Analytics. They provided like day one and day
Mm,
seven retention to this report.
nice.
This time they look, we have like top 2 percentile, top 25, and also like a median.
Hmm. Median
Uh,
was there 22%.
yeah,
Oh,
but the thing
okay.
is, you need to. We had also a discussion there with game analytics team, like their clients not always advertise games. So
Ah, okay.
all of those prototypes are
Ooh,
there,
okay.
right? So they put in, so they've insisted to include that to
Okay.
the percentile, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
then there should be at least one sentence like, "Hey, so these all games."
right. So I'll just hide it from you, just to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hide it. Now, okay, 45%. So the thing is, like 45%. Some of the hyper casual games would say this is not enough, for example, and 38% definitely not enough to you know to cut it for the top ranks and like some profitable UA at some point. It's interesting.
Like it, maybe it also shows that it's like the difference is not even in the second percentile, or it's even like higher, like
Yeah,
only like selected number of games that can really make it, right?
yeah, of
Um,
course. But the thing
I
is that that's what I always discuss with other games as well. So you have day one, which is 45, then day seven, if it's 19. Okay, some games have let's say 25, 30% day one, but they still can get 20% day seven. So that's like the important is the ratio between those retention numbers.
I mean, one question from me here is that I heard that the gap between iOS and Android is increasing. Like basically, Android retention is getting worse. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and but it's like it's based on so you should well you're not comparing apples to apples here because there's so many devices on Android
Mm-hmm.
and that's like the low end devices are dragging the retention down so much. I've seen this in two or three soft launches very recently.
Mm.
So that's if you look at the high end devices only, you will see very
Uh-huh.
comparable retention to iOS.
I see. Yeah. So okay, that's
yeah. These days you can buy Android phone for like what, like $20, $40. Just shitty device. It's shitty device. You can't even play properly any hyper casual game there.
right.
Not yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, poor UA managers. Now they need not only
Of course.
platform filter, but device model
Oh
and
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
all of the devices, right?
But thankfully you can do these filterings on not all the channels, but there is definitely on Unity. It's in the beta. You can do it on TikTok. You can do it on Facebook as well. It requires a lot of like work on the side to actually get these devices right. Or thank you Google Play and Android. The new OS, which is OS 12, actually can run only on devices with RAM 6 GB. So that kind of excludes
Okay.
all the low-end devices. But then you can still get pretty good results on the like 3 GB of RAM until the 6. So you can still need to do some
Okay.
some tricks here and there.
Yeah, but that's a good differentiator. It's better than to remember all the
Oh yeah,
model.
of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
good one. Okay. Maybe I have like one final question. I'll come back to the title page. Like seeing this, like what happens with the hyper casuals now? Like I'm not saying they're dead, or like I
Everything is that.
don't believe.
Yes, of
No, I
course.
don't believe that. Of course, like people will start like doing hybrid casual, whatever, and there'll be hyper casual games too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but if you are, maybe let me rephrase. What is your one advice to young, promising, hyper casual publisher that only like now starts to develop and publish their own games?
Oof, yeah. Now it's kind of late to the party, but I guess it's the first entrance to any gaming genre, and it's still like the easiest to make. So I what I and actually I did like 2 years ago. So we tried this to build the hyper casual games with some of my friends, obviously who didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually built one game from scratch, which didn't get pretty good results, but eventually we wanted to learn. So we built it, we ran the UA, we tested all the analytics stack, all the waterfalls, all the monetization like things. So we actually learned how to do it properly. So when the success prototype comes in, so we are prepared and we can then like push it. So it's all about learning experience, I guess. So even if the game KPI sucks, just go through the whole like development cycle and publish first campaigns and like build everything. It doesn't need to be a huge scale. It can be still like $40 spent, but just go through those steps. It can definitely help you with any other like new prototypes afterwards.
Right. Have you ever bought like a game? I wonder if I would want to learn like to do a UA. I'll buy myself a hyper casual game and do all sort of stuff
I
with it.
was thinking, I was
Mm,
thinking about it actually, and I had a few discussions about this with some people, but then eventually didn't go through it because I thought the game sucked and the KPIs.
okay.
The KPI it wasn't worth the price, but I might just just for the sake of learning and having fun, might buy a game if the price is right and just won't
Yeah.
cost like 100,000
Yeah,
or
it's
two.
a different business. Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
but yeah, it's kind of like a good middle ground, I think.
Mm-hmm. Got it. All right, we'll be wrapping up.
Nice,
I'll leave all of the links to Matei, 2.5 Gamers
nice, thanks.
websites, our wonderful reports. So we haven't showed you a couple of things here. Thanks a lot for listening and watching us. Yep, thanks. Cheers.